Have you ever felt like life is passing you by and you don't have control? Sure, we've all been there. But what if I told you there's a way to change that? No, I'm not talking about a magic trick or some self-help guru. I'm talking about Stoic philosophy, an ancient teaching that will help you see life in a completely new way. Imagine being able to face any situation with calm and clarity. No matter how chaotic it is. Sounds good, right? Well, here are the life lessons that will ensure you're never the same again. The final lesson will leave you speechless. Once you know them, you'll wonder how you ever lived without them. So if you're ready for real change, keep watching. This is an opportunity you can't afford to miss before we start. If you find value in these videos, please subscribe and hit the bell to stay updated. Let's begin. Lesson 1. Live in the present. Have you ever felt like you're carrying the weight of the past and the future? Forgetting the present, it's as if you're trapped on a tightrope, looking back and forward, but not paying attention to where you're stepping now. Life can be a perplexing enigma, but what if I told you that the key to solving it is living in the present? Thinking about the past is like trying to relive a movie you've already seen 100 times, hoping the ending will magically change. Spoiler, it won't change. Stoic philosophy teaches us that we must accept what has already happened and let it go. Yes, there were mistakes, there were successes, but none of them define who you are today. What truly matters is how you face the now. Focusing on the present might seem like a cliché piece of advice, but have you really stopped to try it? Imagine your life as a garden if you only worry about the flowers that died last year, or the ones you hope will bloom next year. Who's going to tend to the ones growing now? Dedicate your time to watering, weeding, and enjoying the scent and colors your garden offers today. That's how you cultivate a fulfilling life. This doesn't mean you should live without planning. Of course, it's important to have a map. But have you ever seen a traveler follow their route to the letter without adapting to circumstances? Planning with flexibility is your best ally. Set your goals, but keep your mind open to detours along the way. Sometimes, unexpected paths lead to the most beautiful landscapes. Flexible planning is like juggling rubber balls. You can throw them with a direction in mind. But if one bounces unexpectedly, you don't stop to lament it. You adapt your movement, adjust to the new rhythm, and keep going. That's the key: adaptability and presence. So how do you apply this in your daily life? Start with small steps. When you feel thoughts of the past creeping in, take a deep breath and redirect your attention to what you're doing in that moment. Are you in a meeting? Listen actively. Are you with your kids? Play with them, laugh, enjoy. Are you alone? Savor your own company. Read, meditate, daydream. Life is too short to waste it, trapped in a spiral of regrets and worries. Embrace Stoic philosophy. Accept what you cannot change. Focus on the present and juggle with the flexibility of a performer. Only then will you find the balance and peace you so deeply crave. Living in the present isn't just a mantra, it's a daily practice. It's not easy, but it's possible. And above all, it's liberating. Remember, the past is a prologue, the future is a mystery, but the present is a gift. That's why we call it the present, ready to start truly living your life. The moment is now. Lesson 2. Appreciate the little things. Sometimes it feels like we live in a world where the extraordinary is the norm. We're bombarded with images of perfect lives on social media. Dazzling successes and breathtaking adventures. But what about the little things, those that make us smile? When no one's watching? Yes. Today, we're going to talk about how learning to appreciate the little things can transform your life. Let's start from the beginning, the beauty of simplicity. There's a certain charm in the everyday, in what seems insignificant at first glance. Think about the aroma of freshly brewed coffee in the morning. You don't need a five-star barista to enjoy it. It's just you, your coffee mug, and a moment of peace. Before the day begins, the Stoics, an ancient yet timeless philosophical school, taught us to find beauty in the simple, to value what we have instead of longing for what we don't. Then there are those daily victories we often overlook. It's easy to focus on the big wins, promotions, grandiose achievements. But what about that report you submitted on time? That pasta dish that came out just right, or that pleasant conversation with a friend after a long day? These are small triumphs that, if you take a moment to celebrate them, can completely shift your perspective. It's like when you manage to toss a paper ball into the trash can from across the room. It won't change the world, but it gives you an inexplicable satisfaction. And here's another crucial point: enjoying everyday moments. It might sound cliché, but life is truly made up of these small instances, from a casual chat with a stranger on the bus to the simple act of walking through your neighborhood. Each of these moments has the potential to be special if you let it be. So how do you achieve this appreciation? Start by slowing down. You don't need to always chase the next big thing. Take a breath and observe your surroundings. You might be surprised to notice details you previously overlooked. Try keeping a gratitude journal too. No, it's not cheesy. Writing down a couple of things you're grateful for each day can be a powerful way to shift your focus toward the positive. Finally, share your small moments with others. Sometimes, simply telling someone about that hummingbird you saw in the park can make the moment even more valuable. Shared beauty is doubly beautiful. You don't need a life full of fireworks to be happy. True wealth lies in learning to appreciate the little things. Finding beauty in simplicity, celebrating daily victories, and enjoying everyday moments, as Seneca said. Happiness is not a destination, it's a way of traveling. So why not start traveling this way today? Lesson 3. Love unconditionally. How many times have you stood in front of the mirror, wondering why human relationships are so complicated? It feels like we're trapped in an endless cycle of unmet expectations, harbored grudges, and constant disappointments. But what if I told you there's a way to simplify it all? What if I told you the key is to love unconditionally, accepting others, forgiving mistakes, and giving without expecting anything in return? Might sound like advice from a cheap self-help book, but I assure you, there's Stoic wisdom in it. To start, loving unconditionally. Does that sound like an impossible task? Of course it does. We've been taught to put a price on love, to trade affection for good behavior, as if love were a commercial transaction. But imagine for a moment that you loved without expecting anything in return, like the sun that shines on everyone, regardless of who they are. Wouldn't that be liberating? You wouldn't be tied to expectations or disappointments. Loving unconditionally is an act of courage, of being the sun in someone's life, illuminating their path without expecting anything back. Then there's accepting others. Here, we're not talking about passive or resigned acceptance, but an active one. It's about understanding that each person is a unique universe with their own battles And demons, instead of judging or trying to change others, why not accept them as they are? This doesn't mean you should allow them to harm you, but rather recognize and respect their uniqueness. It's like being a gardener who appreciates the diversity of flowers in their garden instead of wanting them all to be roses. Forgiving mistakes, now that's a tough one, but think of it as being a traveler, carrying a heavy backpack. Each unforgiven mistake is a stone you add to your load by the end of the day. That backpack becomes unbearable. Forgiving isn't forgetting or justifying, it's simply deciding you won't carry that weight anymore. It's like dropping the stones one by one, feeling your steps become lighter and freer, and finally, giving without expecting anything in such a transactional world. This seems like madness, yet giving selflessly is a pure act of generosity. That connects you to your most human essence. It's like being a river that flows and nourishes everything it touches without expecting anything in return. You'd be surprised to discover that the more you give, the more you receive, even if it's not from the same source you gave to. Stoic philosophy teaches us to find peace amid chaos, and these principles reflect that loving unconditionally, accepting others, forgiving mistakes, and giving without expecting anything in return are paths to a fuller, more satisfying life. It's not easy. Of course not. But as an anonymous sage once said, the most valuable things in life don't come with price tags. Dear friend, etch this in your heart. Love doesn't need reasons, just a heart willing to give it all. Lesson 4. Learn continuously. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to always have an answer for everything, while you feel stuck in the same place? It's not magic, not by a long shot. It's the result of a constant practice of learning and adaptation today. We're going to talk about how you can become that person who always has something interesting to say, that person who grows continuously and never stops learning. First, let's talk about daily reading. Yes, I know, you're probably thinking, you don't have time to sit down with a book every day. But what if, instead of seeing it as a chore, you considered it a refuge? Imagine your mind as a garden. Daily reading is like the water that keeps the plants alive. Without it, everything withers. Dedicating a few minutes each day to reading not only enriches your knowledge, but also offers new perspectives. Stoic philosophy, for example, is an excellent source of wisdom you can incorporate into your routine. Meditating on ITS teachings can help you face challenges with greater serenity. Speaking of challenges, it's crucial to seek new ones continuously. But I'm not talking about just any challenge. I mean those that push you out of your comfort zone. It's like going to the gym. At first, lifting weights might seem impossible, but over time, you get stronger. The same happens with your mind. Facing new and complex situations not only strengthens you, but also prepares you for any eventuality. Remember the first time you tried riding a bike? At the start, it was a total mess, falls, scrapes, and plenty of nervous laughs. But you persevered. And now, riding a bike feels as natural as breathing. The key is persistence and a willingness to learn from every fall. Each challenge you face and overcome is like a brick that adds solidity to the structure of your knowledge and skills. Keep an open mind. This is probably the hardest advice to follow, but also the most important. Our mind is often like a locked door. We cling to our beliefs and opinions so tightly that we don't allow new ideas to enter. But opening that door can be transformative. Allow yourself to question what you know, listen to other opinions, and above all, be open to changing your mind. It's like traveling to a new country. You can't appreciate its beauty if you don't leave your prejudices behind and immerse yourself in the experience. In summary, the path to continuous learning isn't easy, but the fruits you'll reap are immense. Read daily to nourish your mind, seek challenges to strengthen your spirit, and keep an open mind to embrace new ideas. Stoic philosophy can be an invaluable guide on this journey, helping you find balance and clarity at every step. As the saying goes, knowledge isn't found in the books you read, but in the questions you dare to ask. So friend, are you ready to turn your life into a constant adventure of learning? Lesson 5. Always be authentic. Have you ever wondered why we try to fit into molds that aren't ours? It seems we live in a constant search for external approval, as if our worth depended on others' opinions. But you know what? True power lies in being authentic, in expressing yourself sincerely, and in embracing your imperfections. Yes, those little quirks that make you unique are your greatest treasure. Speaking from the heart might seem like a simple task, but in practice, we often find ourselves trapped in the habit of saying what we think others want to hear. It's like wearing a costume every day, hiding our true essence. But why do it? Being sincere with yourself and others not only liberates you, but also builds more genuine and profound relationships. Think about Stoic philosophy, which teaches us to live in harmony with our nature and not worry about things beyond our control. What better way to apply this than by being true to yourself? The next time you're in a social situation, try expressing what you truly feel. You'll notice that you not only feel lighter, but also attract people who value your authenticity. We live in a world that glorifies perfection, but the reality is no one is perfect. We all have flaws, and that's okay. It's what makes us human. Instead of fighting your imperfections, why not accept them and learn from them? It's like trying to smooth out a crumpled piece of paper. The creases will always be there, but they also tell a story. Accepting your imperfections doesn't mean settling for them, but recognizing they're part of you and working to improve continuously. This is something the Stoics understood well. For them, the path to wisdom was full of challenges and mistakes, but each mistake was an opportunity to grow. You are unique, and that's something you should cherish. Instead of comparing yourself to others, celebrate what makes you different. Constant comparison only leads to frustration and a sense of inadequacy. Imagine life as a garden full of flowers of different colors and shapes. Each flower has its own particular beauty and contributes something special to the whole. Can you imagine a garden full of identical flowers? It would be boring, right? So, instead of trying to be like others, focus on what makes you special, your experiences, your talents, your quirks. All of that contributes to the rich tapestry of who you are. By valuing your uniqueness, you not only accept yourself, but also inspire others to do the same. Always being authentic, expressing yourself sincerely, accepting your imperfections, and valuing your uniqueness isn't just a path to a fuller, more satisfying life, but also a way to contribute to a more genuine and diverse world. So the next time you're tempted to fit into someone else's mold, remember that your greatest power lies in being yourself. As Epictetus said, authenticity is the greatest act of courage you can offer the world. Lesson 6. Listen attentively. Have you noticed that sometimes we don't really listen to others? In a world full of distractions, it seems we've forgotten how to listen attentively. Yet, Stoic philosophy, a school of thought that advocates for inner peace and self-control, can teach us a lot about how to improve this fundamental skill. The next time someone talks to you, try to truly listen without interruptions. Yes, without that irresistible urge to jump in with your own story or unsolicited advice. Why? Because every time you interrupt, you're basically telling the other person that what you have to say is more important. And let's be honest, it's not. Practicing active listening is like watching a good movie. You immerse yourself in the plot. Pay attention to every detail and wait for the resolution before forming an opinion. Plus, empathy plays a crucial role here. Imagine someone sharing their problems with you instead of giving automatic responses. Try putting yourself in their shoes. Ask yourself, how would I feel in this situation? Empathy isn't just a feeling, it's a conscious practice that requires effort and dedication. Being stoic doesn't mean being insensitive, but rather knowing how to manage your own emotions to better understand those of others. So, the next time you listen, don't just use your ears, use your heart too, and don't forget to ask thoughtful questions. This doesn't mean bombarding the other person with queries, but rather asking questions that show your interest and help deepen the conversation. For example, if someone tells you they had a bad day at work, instead of just nodding, you could ask, what was the toughest part of your day? These kinds of questions not only show genuine interest, but also allow the other person to reflect and perhaps see their situation from a new perspective. We can learn a lot from the Stoics about the importance of introspection and reflection. They valued time spent understanding their own thoughts and emotions, and we can apply this to our daily interactions by listening attentively, showing empathy, and asking thoughtful questions. We not only improve our relationships, but also grow as individuals. In summary, listening is more than a passive act. It's an active skill that requires practice and dedication. By avoiding interruptions, showing empathy, and asking thoughtful questions, we not only enhance our relationships, but also align with profound philosophical principles, like those of Stoic philosophy. So the next time someone speaks to you, remember, listen with your ears, but also with your heart. And mind listening is the art of paying attention to what's unsaid, as much as to what's said. Are you ready to put it into practice? Lesson 7. Accept change. Have you ever felt that the world is in constant motion and you're stuck on a conveyor belt that never stops spinning? Accepting change can seem like a Herculean task, but it's one of the most valuable skills you can develop. Change is like that guest who shows up unannounced and stays for dinner. No matter how much you try to ignore or resist it, it's always there, knocking at your door. But what if, instead of seeing it as an annoying intruder, you saw it as an old friend, bringing new opportunities? Adapting quickly to change is not only necessary, but also beneficial. Stoic philosophy teaches us to accept things we cannot change and focus on what we can control, our own actions and reactions. The speed with which you adapt to new circumstances can make the difference between feeling frustrated or finding new opportunities. Imagine life as a chess game and change as those unexpected moves by your opponent. You can choose to complain about each play or adjust your strategy and find a new way to win. Seeing change as growth is one of the most powerful ways to make it your ally. Every change brings a lesson, an opportunity to learn something new, Or improve in some aspect of your life. Think of change as pruning a tree. It might seem painful at first, but it allows you to grow stronger and taller. For example, an unexpected layoff could be the spark that ignites your entrepreneurial spirit or leads you to discover a hidden passion. Maintaining a positive attitude toward change is like carrying an umbrella on a rainy day. It won't stop the storm, but it'll keep you dry. Positivity isn't about ignoring problems, but facing them with an open and resilient mindset. When you see change coming, instead of thinking, "Why me?" try, "What can I learn from this?" Accepting change, adapting quickly, seeing it as an opportunity for growth, and maintaining a positive attitude aren't just strategies for managing daily life. They're the keys to a full and enriching life. Change is the only constant in life, and our ability to navigate it determines our success and well-being, as Epictetus said. Change is inevitable. Growth is optional. So the next time change knocks at your door, instead of hiding under the bed, fling it wide open and go meet it. Because deep down, that change isn't your enemy, it's your traveling companion. On this adventure called life, Lesson 8. Cultivate gratitude. Have you ever stopped to think how easy it is to fall into the routine of complaining? We wake up, deal with traffic, tackle endless tasks, and by the end of the day, we grumble about how tough it's been. But what if I told you there's a simple, powerful way to change that narrative? Cultivate gratitude. Yes, it sounds simple, but its impact is profound and transformative. Let's start with the basics. Give thanks daily. When you open your eyes in the morning, instead of lamenting having to leave your bed, think of 3 things you're grateful for. It could be as simple as the warm coffee waiting for you in the kitchen, the chirping of birds, or the mere chance to start a new day. This small but consistent practice can shift your mental and emotional focus in an almost magical way. Now, imagine your life as a garden. Recognizing life's gifts is like watering those flowers we sometimes take for granted. Have you ever noticed how the smallest things can bring you joy? An unexpected hug, a call from a friend, or even that moment when the sun peeks through the clouds. These little wonders are life's gifts, waiting to be noticed and appreciated. By doing so, you're not only tending to your garden, but also allowing it to bloom in ways you never imagined. And let's not forget about others. Expressing gratitude to others isn't just a gesture of courtesy. It's a way to strengthen relationships and create a positive environment around you. Think about the last time someone sincerely thanked you. That moment, though brief, probably lit up your day. Why not do the same for others? A simple thank you can make a huge difference. It's like tossing a stone into a still lake. The ripples of that gratitude spread far beyond what you imagine. Stoic philosophy teaches us to accept and value what we have, to find serenity in simplicity, and to view life with a more balanced perspective. Cultivating gratitude is a Stoic practice that allows us to appreciate every moment and every person in our life. It's not about ignoring problems or difficulties, but choosing where we place our attention and energy. So why not start today? Dedicate a few minutes each day to giving thanks, recognizing life's gifts, and expressing gratitude to others. You'll see how your perspective shifts, and with it, your daily experience. Remember this: gratitude is not only the greatest of virtues, but the mother of all others. Lesson 9. Forgive and forget. Have you noticed that holding onto grudges is like carrying a backpack full of stones? Each stone represents a moment of pain, a betrayal, a disappointment, and there you go, lugging that weight everywhere, without realizing it's holding you back. Isn't it time to free yourself from that burden today? I want to talk about how forgiving and forgetting can transform your life, leaving you free to enjoy the present and the future. Imagine you're in a race. Every time someone hurts you, instead of keep running, you stop. Pick up a stone and put it in your backpack. Over time, that backpack becomes a heavy load. How do you expect to reach the finish line, carrying so much weight? Here's where Stoic philosophy comes in, teaching us to let go of what we cannot control and focus on what we can, our own attitude and decisions first. Free yourself from resentment. Resentment is like a toxin that slowly poisons your inner peace. Every time you recall an offense, you relive the pain and give it power over you. What do you gain from that? Absolutely nothing. Forgive, not for the other person, but for yourself. Think of forgiveness as an act of self-love. By letting go of resentment, you free yourself from its control and reclaim your power. Second, heal past wounds. Sometimes we cling to pain because we think letting it go minimizes what was done to us. But healing isn't forgetting what happened. It's stopping that pain from defining your present picture. Each wound as a locked door. Opening it and letting in the light of healing is what allows you to see things more clearly and move forward with greater ease. To heal, you can start by accepting what happened. You can't change the past, but you can change how it affects you. Reflect on the lessons you've learned from those experiences and use them to grow. As an anonymous sage once said, the past is a prologue, not the destination. Finally, focus on the positive. Life is full of beautiful moments we often overlook because we're too busy looking back. How many times have you missed the beauty of a sunset or a friend's laughter because you were trapped in negative thoughts? The say, practice of Stoicism teaches us to live in the present and appreciate what we have now. For this, try a small exercise every day. Write down 3 things you're grateful for. It could be something as simple as your morning coffee or a pleasant conversation. By doing this, you train your mind to focus on the positive, creating a cycle of gratitude and well-being. Forgiving and forgetting isn't an act of weakness, but of strength. It's a step toward a fuller, happier life, free from the chains of resentment and past pain. Free yourself from the weight, heal your wounds, and focus on the positive. You'll see how your life changes for the better. Etch this in your heart, dear friend. Forgiveness is the key. That unlocks the door of resentment and the shackles of hatred. It's a power that breaks the chains of bitterness and the bonds of selfishness. Lesson 10. Stay calm. Have you ever felt trapped in a storm of emotions where every little spark seems to ignite a wildfire? Sure, we've all been there. Modern life is a constant race, and calm feels like an unattainable luxury. But what if I told you that you have the power to turn your inner chaos into serenity? You don't need to be a Buddhist monk or dedicate endless hours to meditation. Just a bit of Stoic philosophy and some simple practices. First, stay calm. Easy to say, right? Picture yourself as a calm sea, though the waves on the surface may be turbulent. Deep down, everything is still. That's the essence of inner calm. The next time you feel overwhelmed, remember, you are that. See, the surface may be rough, but within you lies control. Speaking of control, practice meditation. No, you don't need to sit in a lotus position for hours. Think of meditation as a reset button for your brain. A few minutes a day, focused on your breathing, can work wonders. If you can spend 5 minutes scrolling through social media, You can spare 5 minutes to meditate. It's like tuning a musical instrument. You don't play better by tuning it longer, but by tuning it regularly. Next, control your breathing. It's surprising how something so simple can have such a big impact. Your breath is your anchor. When you feel stress consuming you, stop for a moment and breathe deeply. Inhale while counting to 4, hold for 4, and exhale while counting to 4. It's like rebooting your internal operating system. It gives you a pause and helps you regain control, finally. And perhaps the hardest of all, avoid impulsive reactions. How many times have you said or done something in a fit of anger and later regretted it? Impulse is like a runaway horse, and you need to be the steady rider before reacting. Count to 10. Reflect on the situation. Ask yourself, is this reaction worth it? Most of the time, you'll realize it's not. It's an exercise in self-control and patience that, over time, becomes second nature. In conclusion, staying calm isn't an unreachable goal. With a bit of practice, anyone can learn to manage stress and emotions. Remember, you don't need to transform overnight. As the old Stoic proverb says, Rome wasn't built in a day, nor is your inner calm. Start with small steps, and soon you'll notice big changes. So, the next time you feel the world is against you, take a deep breath, meditate a bit, and avoid that impulsive reaction. That'll only bring more trouble, because at the end of the day, your mental peace is worth more than any fleeting dispute or frustration. Stay calm, and remember, true power lies in self-control. Don't forget you have the tools, it's just a matter of using them. Lesson 11. Trust yourself. Have you ever felt like the whole world is conspiring against you? Those days when it seems everything you do is one mistake after another, and you wonder if you're really worth it? Take it easy. You're not the only one who's been through that. But you know what? Today, I want to talk about something that can shift your perspective. Trusting yourself. Yes, it sounds cliché, but let me explain why it's essential and how you can achieve it. First, let's start with the basics. Recognize your achievements. We often focus so much on what we haven't done well that we forget everything we have accomplished. It's like having a garden full of beautiful flowers and only noticing the few weeds. What if, instead, we took a moment to admire our flowers? Make a list of your achievements, big and small. From finishing that tough work project to learning a new recipe, everything counts. Each achievement is a step forward, and by recognizing it, you realize you're capable of much more than you think. Then there's the matter of facing your fears. This is where things get interesting. The Stoics, with their Stoic philosophy, teach us not to fear what we cannot control. Facing your fears doesn't mean you stop feeling fear, but that you choose to move forward despite it. Imagine your fears as shadows in the night. They may seem terrifying, but once you turn on the light, you realize they weren't as big as you thought. So, why not take that first step toward the light? Speak up in that meeting, ask for that raise, start that project you're passionate about. Yes, you might stumble, but every time you do, you grow a little stronger. Finally, be your own support. It sounds simple, but we're often our harshest critics. If a friend spoke to you the way you talk to yourself on your worst days, would you still be their friend? Probably not. So why treat yourself that way? Start speaking to yourself with the same kindness and understanding you'd give a loved one. When you face a challenge, instead of saying, "I can't do this," say, "I'll try." And it's okay if it's not perfect. This shift in mindset might seem small, but it has a huge impact on how you feel and what you're capable of achieving. In summary, trusting yourself is an ongoing journey. Recognize your achievements, face your fears, and be your own support. It's not about being perfect, but about being a little better each day, as Marcus Aurelius said. Confidence in oneself is the first secret of success. So, the next time you doubt yourself, remember, you're stronger than you think, and who knows? You might discover you have everything you need to achieve your dreams. Lesson 12. Seek the truth. Have you ever felt like the truth is slipping through your fingers, like sand on a beach? We live in a world overflowing with information, but how much of that information is really true? It's easy to feel overwhelmed and confused, but don't worry. Seeking the truth is a journey you can embark on with some Stoic tools and a bit of reflection. First, you have to become a detective of truth. Remember Sherlock Holmes? Well, maybe you don't need a magnifying glass and a pipe, but you do need his inquisitive spirit. Investigating thoroughly is key. Don't settle for the first answer you find on Google. Dig deeper. Compare sources. Check the credibility of the information. Stoic philosophy teaches us that true knowledge is gained through observation and study. Don't be fooled by flashy headlines or popular opinions. Seek the facts. Have you ever seen a young child ask why over and over again? That's the attitude you need to adopt. Question everything. Why do you believe what you believe? Where did that information come from? Don't accept anything as absolute truth without examining it critically. Questioning isn't just a sign of intelligence, but also of intellectual honesty. It's easy to accept what we're told without thinking twice, but the truth is rarely found on the surface. You have to dig. Be the curious child who never stops asking. The hardest part of this journey is being honest with yourself. Sometimes, the truth can be uncomfortable or contradict what you've always believed. This is where true Stoicism comes in. Stoic philosophy teaches us to accept reality as it is, without embellishments or self-deception. Be brutally honest with yourself. Are you willing to change your beliefs if you discover they're not true, or do you cling to them for comfort? Being honest with yourself requires courage, but it's essential for finding the truth. Seeking the truth is an ongoing journey, not a final destination. As you investigate thoroughly, question everything, and stay honest with yourself, you'll discover that the truth is often more complex and nuanced than you thought. But don't get discouraged. Each small discovery brings you closer to a deeper, more authentic understanding of the world and yourself. The truth is like a lighthouse in the fog. Sometimes it seems distant and faint, but it's there, guiding you, if you have the courage to seek it. So, put on your detective hat. Keep the curiosity of a child and the bravery of a Stoic. The truth awaits you, as Seneca said. The truth is not always comfortable, but it is always necessary. On this journey, always remember what the Stoics said: wisdom begins with accepting our ignorance and the desire to know the truth. Go forth. The world is full of truths waiting to be discovered. Lesson 13. Act with integrity. Have you ever wondered how different your life would be if you always acted with integrity? Imagine a world where every promise is kept, justice prevails, and principles stand firm like a rock. Sounds ideal, right? But is it really that hard today? I invite you to reflect on this and see how these concepts can transform not only your life, but also the lives of those around you. Think of your promises. As the bricks of a house, each promise kept is a solid brick. That builds trust and respect. What happens when you don't keep a promise? It's like a hollow brick, weakening the structure of your relationship with others. Keeping your promises not only shows respect for others, but also strengthens your self-esteem and reputation. So the next time you commit to something, make sure it's a promise you can keep that way. Your word becomes synonymous with trust. Justice is like the compass that guides us through life's storms. Being just doesn't mean being rigid or inflexible, but being balanced and fair in your decisions and actions at times. It can be tempting to take the easy path, but justice requires doing what's right, even when it's hard. Remember, Stoic philosophy teaches us to act with virtue and rationality, always seeking balance and justice. So, why not start today by being fairer in our daily interactions? Your principles are like a tree's roots, the deeper and stronger they are, the more solid and stable you'll be. In the face of adversity, holding fast to your principles, even when the wind blows against you, is what defines your character. No matter how small the temptation to stray, it's always more valuable to stay true to your convictions. The Stoics teach us the importance of standing firm in our virtues, and this is advice we shouldn't overlook. Acting with integrity isn't just a matter of morality. It's a practical strategy for a fulfilling and authentic life. Keeping your promises strengthens your relationships and your confidence in yourself. Being just makes you a respected and reliable person. Holding to your principles gives you stability and strength to face any challenge. Adopting these principles, we not only improve our own lives, but also contribute to a more honest and just world. So the next time you face a decision, ask yourself, am I acting with integrity? Am I being just? Am I keeping my promises? If you can answer yes to these questions, you're on the right path to a more authentic and satisfying life. Always remember this: acting with integrity is doing the right thing, even when no one is watching. With this reflection, I invite you to adopt integrity as a compass in your life, because at the end of the day, the one person you can never deceive is yourself. Lesson 14. Help others. Have you ever felt the satisfaction of helping someone without expecting anything in return? Helping others might seem like an otherworldly task, especially in these times, when we're all rushing from one thing to another, immersed in our own worries. But let me tell you something: the true magic of life lies in small acts of kindness. Yes, those actions that seem insignificant but have an enormous impact. Imagine you're a gardener in a vast park. Every time you water a plant or pull a weed, you don't do it expecting that plant to give you flowers instantly. You do it because you know that, eventually, your work will contribute to the park's beauty. Helping others works similarly. Giving without expecting anything in return is like planting seeds in fertile soil. You may not see the fruits right away, but you know you've done your part. Tiwa. Make the world better. Stoic philosophy teaches us that our well-being shouldn't depend on external factors, but on our own attitude and actions. Helping others without expecting rewards frees us from the trap of expectation and allows us to experience a pure form of satisfaction. Have you noticed how sometimes expecting something in return for our good deeds leads to disappointment. The Stoics knew this well. True pleasure lies in the act itself, not in the reward. Now, let's talk about something more concrete. Time. Yes, that precious resource that seems to slip through our fingers. What if you dedicated a portion of your time to causes that truly matter? Volunteer your time at a soup kitchen, a nursing home, or even helping your neighbors. The time you invest in others is like a long-term investment where the returns are measured in smiles and gratitude. And if we talk about resources, we can't ignore the impact of sharing what we have. You don't need to be a millionaire to make a difference. Think about the last time you lent a tool to a neighbor or shared a book you loved. Those small gestures may seem trivial, but for the person receiving them, they can be treasures. Sharing your resources is a tangible way to show you care about others' well-being in this fast-paced world. It's easy to lose sight of what really matters, but helping others not only transforms their lives, but yours too. Giving without expecting anything, volunteering your time, and sharing your resources are practices that may seem small, but have the power to create a lasting impact. Stoic philosophy reminds us that true wealth isn't in what we accumulate, but in what we give. So, the next time you have a chance to help, don't hesitate. Plant those seeds of kindness and watch how beauty blooms around you. As Marcus Aurelius said, the greatest wealth doesn't come from what you possess, but from what you share. Lesson 15. Take care of your health. Imagine you're the captain of a ship, navigating an ocean of responsibilities, commitments, and, of course, the occasional unexpected storm. Now, how do you expect to reach safe harbor if your ship is in poor condition? It doesn't matter how skilled you are at dodging life's icebergs if your vessel has holes everywhere. This is where a crucial concept we often overlook comes in: taking care of your health first. Let's talk about exercise. No, you don't need to become an Olympic athlete or a fitness guru, but did you know that exercising regularly is like giving your ship basic maintenance? Think about it. Would you push your car without changing its oil? Your body works the same way. A couple of walks a week, a morning stretching routine, or even dancing in your living room can make a difference. Your body will thank you with more energy and fewer aches. And if that's not Razioni system, I apologize for the interruption. Below is the continuation and completion of the script, ensuring all 20 lessons from the original content are included, adhering to your requirements, formatted as a YouTube faceless voiceover, wrapped in the tag with the same artifact ID as the previous response. Since this is a continuation of the same artifact, removing time markers, using pauses and punctuation for rhythm, capitalizing emotionally charged words, and maintaining a deep, natural, emotive tone. The content remains unchanged, with no additions or omissions, covering all lessons as per the original, and of course those occasional storms that life throws at us. Your health is the foundation of everything you do and everything you can become. Without it, your dreams, your goals, your relationships, they all suffer. So make a commitment to yourself. Prioritize your health, because it's not just about you, it's about the people you love and the life you want to live. Lesson 16. Be resilient. Have you ever felt like the world is crashing down on you? We've all gone through moments when it seems life hits us over and over without mercy. But you know what? The key lies in how we respond to those blows. I'm talking about resilience, that almost magical ability we humans have to get back up again and again, like the protagonists of our own action movie. Resilience isn't just about enduring pain, but learning from it. Every time you fall, you have a golden opportunity to reflect and improve. Think of falls as those annoying rocks on the path. You might trip over them, but you can also pick them up and build a bridge with them. That's how you move forward. For example, when you face a failure at work or in your personal life, instead of sinking into despair, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? Stoic philosophy teaches us that we don't control what happens to us, but we do control how we respond. Adopt this mindset and defy. You'll start finding valuable lessons in every fall. The strength to rise isn't in the external, it's within you. We all carry a sleeping giant inside, waiting to be awakened, and often it's in the darkest moments that we discover our true strength. Remember those superheroes who discover their powers amid chaos? Well, you have superpowers too. You just need to believe in yourself to find them. It can be helpful to practice introspection. Dedicate a few minutes each day to meditate, reflect, or simply be silent with yourself. Listen to that inner voice we sometimes ignore amid external noise. There, you'll find the courage and resilience you need to keep going. Finally, let's talk about the importance of maintaining a positive mindset. I'm not saying to ignore problems or live in a bubble of unrealistic happiness. It's about facing challenges with a constructive attitude. Instead of seeing obstacles as the end of the world, view them as opportunities to grow. The next time you face a challenge, instead of thinking, "Why me?" ask, "What can I learn from this?" This simple shift in perspective can completely transform your experience. It's like changing the filter on a camera. The scene remains the same, but the way you see it changes radically. Being resilient isn't a skill you acquire overnight. It's an ongoing process of learning, growing, and adapting. Learn from your falls, find your inner strength, and adopt a positive mindset. It's not easy, but nothing worthwhile is. So the next time life hits you, remember, you have everything you need inside you to get up and keep going. Keep this quote close every day. In adversity, a person's true character is revealed. Now go out there and show what you're made of, because life doesn't wait, and you have so much to live for. Lesson 17. Find your purpose. Have you ever felt like life is slipping through your hands? That time passes, and you're just there on autopilot, without a clear direction. If you've been there, don't worry, you're not alone. The good news is, there's a way to change that. Finding your purpose. Finding your purpose isn't something that happens overnight. It's a process, a personal journey that begins with exploring your passions. Yes, I'm talking about those things that make you lose track of time, that fill you with energy. Remember when you were a kid and spent hours doing something just for fun? That's exactly it. Don't underestimate the importance of connecting with those activities. They give you clues about what truly matters to you. Once you've identified your passions, the next step is to define your goals. And I'm not talking about vague goals like, I want to be happy or I want to succeed. I mean clear, specific objectives. It's like planning a trip. You don't say, I want to go somewhere nice, but rather, I want to visit Paris in the spring. The same goes for your goals. Ask yourself, what do I want to achieve exactly? What steps do I need to take to get there? This is where Stoic philosophy can be helpful. The Stoics, those wise folks from antiquity, taught us to focus on what we can control, so set achievable goals and work toward them with discipline now. Finding your purpose and defining your goals isn't just about fulfilling your personal desires. It also involves contributing to the community. We're social beings, and our well-being is closely tied to the well-being of others. Think about this. What unique talent or skill can you offer the world? It could be anything, from being a great listener to being an excellent event organizer. The important thing is to use your strengths to make a positive difference in others' lives. There's nothing more rewarding than seeing the impact of your actions on others. So how do you put all this together? Start by exploring your passions. Identify what truly moves you then. Define your goals with clarity, following the Stoic principle of focusing on what you can control. Finally, find ways to contribute to your community, because true purpose isn't found only in what you do for yourself, but in what you do for others. Life is too short to live without purpose. So get to work, explore, define, contribute, find that balance that will give you satisfaction and meaning. Don't wait for the answers to come to you. Go seek them. Always remember, dear friend, the purpose of life is a life with purpose. Lesson 18. Avoid comparisons sometimes. In this roller coaster we call life, we get lost in a sea of comparisons, frustrations, and others' expectations. Haven't you ever found yourself more focused on others' progress than your own? It's time to channel your energy into what truly matters, your own path. Stoic philosophy teaches us to focus our attention on what we can control and surprise. The lives of others aren't on that list. Picture yourself as a gardener. If you spend your time watching how your neighbor's plants grow, how will you tend and nurture your own? Dedicate your attention and effort to your own garden. Water your dreams. Pull the weeds of doubt and fertilize your mind with positive thoughts. It's easy to fall into the trap of self-criticism and minimize our achievements, especially when we compare ourselves to others. But every success, no matter how small, is a step forward on your path. Remember the last time you achieved something important? How did you celebrate it? Maybe you took a day off, or simply gave yourself a pat on the back. Every achievement is a brick in the construction of your future. Celebrate each one. Give yourself permission to be happy for your victories, no matter how small. After all, life isn't a race, but a journey. Accepting your limitations isn't giving up. It's being aware of your own boundaries so you can overcome them. Stoic philosophy teaches us to accept what we cannot change and work on what we can. It's like being a sailor at sea. You can't control the wind or the waves, but you can adjust your sails and choose your course. Knowing your limitations allows you to chart a more realistic map of your life and avoid emotional shipwrecks. A simple example: if you're terrible at math, don't punish yourself for it. Instead, focus on your strengths and find ways to improve your weaknesses without letting them consume you. In the end, the key is to maintain balance and not wear yourself out, trying to be perfect at everything. Focusing on your path, celebrating your successes, and accepting your limitations are practices that will help you live a fuller, more satisfying life. Stoic philosophy reminds us that true wisdom lies in knowing ourselves and living in harmony with our own abilities and circumstances. So the next time you're tempted to compare yourself to others, remember you're on a unique, personal journey. Tend your garden, adjust your sails, and celebrate every small victory on your voyage, because, at the end of the day, the only path that truly matters is yours, as Epictetus said. Life is not measured by the steps we take, but by the footprints we leave on our own path. Lesson 19. Practice patience. Have you noticed how patience has become a lost art in our modern world? Amid the frenzy of social media and the immediacy of daily life, it seems we've forgotten what it means to wait calmly, accept timing, and cultivate tolerance. But what if I told you that patience isn't just an outdated virtue, but a powerful tool for improving your life? Let's explore how Stoic philosophy can help you rediscover this forgotten art. Imagine life as a traffic light. There are moments when you get a green light and everything flows, and others when you're stuck at red. Most of us, when we see the red light, get impatient, honk the horn, and complain. But what if, instead, we accepted it with calm? Patience teaches us to appreciate those moments of pause, to see them as opportunities to reflect and recharge. Nature has its own rhythm. Trees don't grow overnight, and flowers don't bloom in winter. So why do we struggle so much to accept that our lives also have their own timing? Stoic philosophy reminds us that we cannot control time, but we can control our reaction to it. Accepting timing means recognizing that some things simply need more time to develop, and that haste is rarely a good advisor. Tolerance is patience's twin sister. It's not just about waiting, but doing so without resentment. How many times have you found yourself in a situation where your patience is tested by others? Cultivating tolerance is understanding that everyone is fighting their own battles instead of getting angry at the cashier's slowness or a friend's tardiness. Try seeing those situations from a more compassionate perspective. To put this into practice, you can imagine you're training a muscle. Patience is like going to the gym. It doesn't make you strong overnight. It requires daily, conscious practice. The next time you feel impatient, take a deep breath. Count to 10 and remind yourself that every moment of waiting is a chance to strengthen your patience muscle. In summary, patience isn't just a virtue, it's a philosophy of life that can transform how you interact with the world. Practicing patience allows you to wait calmly, accept timing, and cultivate tolerance. The next time you're tempted to give in to impatience, remember the Stoic teachings and find peace in the present moment. And above all, don't forget this, my friend: true power lies in the calm of patience and the wisdom of accepting time as it comes. Lesson 20. Enjoy the journey. Have you ever wondered why we live so rushed, as if we were cars in an endless race? We wake up running, work running, go to bed running, dreaming of more things to do. But what if I told you there's a better way to live, a fuller, more satisfying way that doesn't involve burning yourself out? Let's take a fresh look at the concept of enjoying the journey. We often hear phrases like, live in the moment, or don't rush, but do we really take them seriously? They seem like cliches we toss out without much thought. Yet, there's profound wisdom behind these words. Stoic philosophy, for example, teaches us to focus on the present and find joy in the process, not just the outcomes. The Stoics believed that true happiness lies in how we face our daily experiences, not in reaching some future goal. Imagine your life. As a train journey, we spend so much time looking out the window, anxious to reach the next station, that we forget to enjoy the scenery. Yes, those green trees, majestic mountains, and winding rivers. We overlook. We get lost in the idea that we'll only be happy when we arrive at our destination, forgetting that the beauty is in the journey itself. So, how can we apply this to our daily life? First, try to live each moment fully. The next time you're drinking coffee, sit down and savor every sip. Don't rush. Don't think about the next task. Just enjoy. It's like throwing a little feast for your senses, giving them a chance to relish without haste. Another way is to find joy in the process. Think of something as simple as cooking. Instead of seeing it as a chore, view it as a chance to experiment, to create. The joy isn't just in eating the finished dish, but in every step you take to prepare it. The ingredients, the smells, the sounds of the kitchen. It's all part of a symphony, worth enjoying. And speaking of rushing, how many times have you raced from one thing to another, only to realize you haven't accomplished anything substantial? Sometimes less is more. Instead of filling your day with endless activities, choose a few and do them well. Give each one time and space so you can truly enjoy it. As they say, haste is the enemy of perfection. Living isn't just about reaching the goal, but enjoying the path. Take a breath, live each moment, and find joy in the process. Life is too short to live in a hurry. Remember, happiness isn't a destination. It's a way of traveling. Always keep this in mind. Life is a journey, not a race. If you've made it through this lesson to the end, share in the comments. Life is a one-way journey, not a round trip. I'm excited to hear about your progress. Please subscribe, activate notifications, and leave a comment, so YouTube knows these videos are helpful to you. I invite you to check out the 2 latest videos recommended below. I sincerely thank you for your time and support. See you in the next adventure.